We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Good evening. Welcome to another edition of On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. I am your host, Troy Bif Mills, and it is indeed a pleasure to be here again with you for another edition of On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. I thank you for tuning and joining us, and I'm hoping that we're going to be having an exciting program tonight. We have football, we have cricket, we have a little bit of basketball, and boy, have we got lots of cricket. West Indies on the 19 cricket, male West Indies on the 19 cricket, female West Indies, Australia cricket. Oh boy, I don't really want to talk about that, but hey, it's my job to bring it to you and inform you of what is going on. And to those who are celebrating birthdays today, we say happy birthday to you. To those who are celebrating anniversaries, we say happy anniversary to you. And to those, well, who are not having a good time because you're undergoing some sort of bereavement, we say condolences to you. And I received some pretty disturbing news this afternoon. We have lost another Sandy Pointer, a youngish Sandy Pointer, as it were. I was listening to another station and I heard the DJ extending condolences to the staff, management and staff of the Dollar Stretcher supermarket in Sandy Point. So obviously, it picked me ears. Once I hear SP where the best be, Hub City, hub, you know I'm going to tune in. But it wasn't pleasant news. I understand that a young lady by the name of Pinky, the Costa, I can't remember her first name, but she's called Pinky. She has gone to the great beyond. And we say condolences to her family. And it's really tough. I went into the supermarket on Friday last, and I saw her, And just a hi, hello. Nothing, no conversation really, just hi, hello. And not knowing that was going to be the last time I saw her, the last time I spoke to her. Why times I don't know. It's important when you see people, take good care of them, laugh and smile and say, hey, hello, because, hey, that might really be the last time, eh? And we say congrats and condolences to her family, to her family, friends, and the staff of Sinclair Warner and the Dollar Stretcher. Those who celebrated birthdays between last week, Wednesday, and yesterday, Monday, we say happy belated birthday to you, happy belated anniversary if you celebrated within that period. Those who are celebrating birthdays between tomorrow is what, Wednesday? Tomorrow, Wednesday, and next week, Monday. Happy birthday in advance to you. If you're celebrating anniversaries, happy anniversary in advance to you. And to those who achieved something, got something new in their life today, whether you got a new boyfriend, a new girlfriend, whether you got a new baby in addition to the family, whether you got a new dog, a new cat, whatever, a new bicycle, a new hairdo, nails, congratulations to you. And we, in case you want to call in and join the program, the number to call is 466-0989, 662-0989. And there are some numbers you can call if you're calling from overseas. And obviously, when we say overseas, we're talking about outside St. Kitts and Nevis, eh? The Caribbean is overseas as well. Some people, when they go in Nevis, they say they're going where they're going overseas. But the numbers to call are in the UK, if you're calling from the UK, 033-344-0065. 033-344-0065. In the USA, call 718-285-6984. 718-285-6984. And in Canada, you call 3005-9521-4619. And in terms of bereavement, we recently heard of the passing of the late Jim Allen out of Montserrat, a cricketer. Some may argue that he might have been better than Vivi Richards, eh? I don't know. That was way back. I think my father had started carrying me to cricket at that time. I think I may have seen him play once or twice in St. Kitts, Montserrat against whoever. I don't remember if Lee was against whatever WINN was, or Combined Islands or whatever. I don't remember. I think I saw him play once or twice as a little boy. Those are the days when you go to Warner Park and the crowd, you have the boundary, and the crowd right around the boundary was by about 10-yard stick. About that, everybody sitting down, and if you want to go to the bathroom and you want to go to the bar, something like that. And it was understood. You basically didn't have to say, excuse me, please, and people see you get up, and they start shifting and making room for you to pass and things like that. And when you're coming back, the same thing. But right now, that's a different kettle of fish. And we're going to be having the St. Kitts and the Nevis Athletes Commission. They're going to be with us in a few minutes at about 7:30, and the representative is here already. And then a little later, about 8 o'clock, we're going to be having the St. Kitts and the Nevis Weightlifting Federation. Oh, strength was never everything. I was never, ever, when it comes to strength, that was never, ever my thing. I can't sprint, I can't jump, and I ain't strong. So if I can't do none of them, what could I do, boy? Maybe for me fool, I don't know. I never made the 100-meter standard in school. I think I make it in fifth form. I don't think I ever make the 200 meters. I never make long jump standard. I never make high jump standard. And I never gave my house a point in the shot put. I never ever made the shot put. Them times nobody used to study about putting it in the neck. You just hold the shot put and you push it, poof. I was naturally weak. But anyway, a lot of things happening, boy. Here on the local scene, things are getting really, really tight. If you look at the Premier League, which is sponsored by the National Bank Group of Companies, there are 10 teams. They're playing 2 rounds of matches, so therefore each team has 18 matches to play before they get into the final 4. 13 rounds of matches have been played so far. Boy, and this thing tight, boy. Security forces, they still got a chance to go up. They have 5 more matches to play. They could get 15 points. Boy, yeah, they still got a chance to go up, stay up, yeah. They still got a chance. All they got to do is win all the matches, and I think they're playing Sandy Point at some point, and hope that Bath and Sandy Point lose a couple matches all along the way. Well, they ain't score a point yet, you know. I don't know what's going on with security forces. They haven't, yeah, I lie. Forgive me, I lie. They've scored about 7 goals so far. How you gonna make a mistake like that, Biff? But only said they didn't score them in the opponent's goal. They scored them in their own goal. So they don't count as goal when we say they didn't score a goal, eh? So they yet to score a goal in the opponent's goal. Mantab, and they've lost all 13. That's a perfect record, eh? Whether you like it or not, it is a perfect record. Mantab winning 2, drawing 2, losing 10. They have 5 goals. Mantab, they've scored 12 goals into double figures, yes. But 55 goals score on them. That's a lot of goals, yeah. 67 scored on security forces. I remember back in 1992, I was goalkeeping for Deep Bay. And I think 99 goals scored on Deep Bay that year. And 77 goals scored on me. And the other 22 scored on the other keeper because I was injured for a few games and things like that. And you may not believe me, but I believe I probably should have made national trials. Not because 77 goals scored me, because goals are made to score, but the type of saves I had. I take ball off Tinny foot and Kayamba foot. That time Kayamba just coming into it, and Tinny in his prime, and Opel rattled them. I remember something with Opel, Opel beat a shot to me. I dive and push it around the crossbar, boy. Those who don't know Opel, that's Pepe. And next thing they take a corner, what happened? The corner score. Boy, I feel so bad after a nice hard save. But anyway, Sandy Point, Mantab, they still have a chance to stay up too. They have 5 points. If they win the remaining 5 matches, they go to 20 points. And if Bath and Sandy Point lose all the rest, what goes down? Even Old Road, if Old Road lose all the rest, they're on 20, but it won't be no competition. Mantab, the goal difference to minus. Sandy Point, they've played 13, 1-2, lost 2. 1-2, drawn 2, lost 9. They have 8 points. Bath, 1-4, lost 2. 1-4, drawn 2, lost 7. They have 8 points. No, 14 points. That's Bath. Old Road in 6. They have played 1-5, drawn 5, lost 3. They have 20 goals. St. Peter's in 5th. 1-8, drawn 1, lost 4. They have 25 goals. Kearn Rockets, they went from 1st to 4th in one game. Poof! They lost the game. They were leaders, and they led for maybe about 11 games. And they lost 1 game, and they shut down to 4. They've won 8, drawn 2, drawn 3, lost 2. They have 27 points. Connery in Island Auto Supply, Connery, they are 3rd, winning 9, drawing 1, losing 3. They are on 28 points. SL Horsford St. Paul's United, the defending champions, the President Cup champions, they are in 2nd by means of goal difference, winning 9, drawing 2, losing 2. They're on 29 points, same as Rams Village Superstars. However, St. Paul's, they've only scored 36 goals. They've given up 11. They have a goal difference of plus 25, whereas Village, they've scored 45, given up 10. They have a difference of positive 35, so they are first. So if we step back and look at it, we got to leave out, say, Old Road, they're a little behind. They're 5 points behind St. Peter's in fifth. But St. Peter's in fifth, 2 points behind Keon in fourth. They are 3 points behind Connery in third, which is just winning a match, eh? And they are 4 points behind St. Paul's and Village. Now, if you go into the final four, Keon in 27, 1 point behind Connery, 2 points behind Village and St. Paul's. And if you go to number 3, Connery, 1 point behind the leaders. That's how tight things are in the first division, in the Premier Division. And we're going to get to our guest shortly. And first division, if we look at the bottom, Lodge Patriots, they have played 15 rounds of matches in the first division, everybody. Lodge, they've drawn 1 and lost 14. So they actually have 1 point. And then we have Connery Fireballs International. They have 1-1 and they have drawn 1, lost 13. They have 4 points. KFC Trinity Challengers United, 1-3, drawn 2, lost 10, 11 points. Rivers of Living Water in 7th with the same stats. However, Rivers scored 17, giving up 63. So their goal difference is negative 46. Whereas Trinity Challengers, they scored 25, giving up 89. Their goal difference is minus 64. Molyneux Pitbulls FC. I had them to be higher and doing better this season. I don't know. They went off course. They're in 6, winning 5, drawing 4, losing 6, 19 points. Unicomer, the Cable Village Galaxy. Perhaps a little disappointing for me. They are in 5th. And, I didn't specify. There are 10 teams in the first division playing 9 matches per round, which is a total of 18 matches in the regular season. So 18 matches, they don't play 15, so they only have 3. So as it is right now, if Village Galaxy 3 3s are 9, they can win the championship. Well, yes, maybe, They can be promoted. They can be, perhaps, yes. They have 28 points. Were they to win their remaining 3 matches, and Garden, Deerbear, and Saddlers lose all their remaining matches, which is not really likely, Galaxy on 28 points could go to 37. Saddlers they are on 31 in 4th, winning 10, drawing 1, losing 4. Deerbear Eagles, they are on 37, same as Skellig Garden Hotspurs. However, Skellig Garden Hotspurs in 2nd by way of a better goal difference. Did I say Saddlers 110, drawn 1 and lost 4? Deerbear Eagles, that is Trans Global Engineering Deerbear Eagles, winning 12, drawing 1, losing 2 on 37. They scored 54, giving up 16. Their goal difference is positive 38. Whereas Garden Hotspurs, they've scored 17, giving up 12. They have a goal difference of plus 55. And then out front, just by 1 point, 1 single solitary beer point. Honda Newtown United, winning 12, losing 2. Winning 12, drawing 2. They've lost only 1. They are on 38 points. So Saddlers, 3 matches to play. 3 3s are 9. They have a fighting mathematical chance. They could get to 40. So, but mathematical, I don't know, but Newtown and Garden Hotspurs, 2 teams that came down, looking to go up. Deep Bay, they came down some years ago, the year before. Saddlers came down the year before. So we are going to see how that is. You're listening to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. I am Troy Bif Mills, and it's a pleasure, of course, having you here to join in. And you could check us out on Facebook as well as YouTube, and tune in to us and see us live. We are just going to take a quick little break, and we will be back with our guest in the studio from the St. Kitts and Nevis Athletes Commission. Stick and stay. Don't go away. Please stay with us. Good evening, ma'am. How are you? Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Welcome back to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. We have our first guest in the studio, a very beautiful young lady, I might add. She's trying to convince me that she's shy, but she ain't shy. She's playing smart. Nobody from SP where the best be shy except me. I tell people I shy about it, but nobody believe me. I am really a shy person by nature. But when I got a job to do, I'm going to do it. We have the representative from the St. Kitts and Nevis Athletes Commission. Commission, when I hear about commission, I think about commission of inquiry and all them kind of things, you know, but I don't know. She's going to tell us what all that is about. Let us welcome Miss Chanel Cook, and I don't have to tell you she's from SP where the best be, Hub City, Hub. Good evening, Chanel. Welcome to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9.
Hi, good night. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little about Chanel before we get into it. Who is Chanel Cook?
Well, I am known for being the runner, the sprinter, 100-meter and 200-meter sprinter. Went to Washi, went off to the States, studied at Morgan State University, and I got my bachelor's in business administration. Continued to represent the federation at a number of international meets. And now I'm the sports officer at CFBC and the PRO for the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Athletes Commission.
I like that, sports officer of CFBC. So what does that mean? What do you do?
Well, I am in charge of all sporting activities at the college.
Oh, so when they bring up our football team or cricket team to cheat off all the other teams.
It's not fair, but I am proud of my two-time championship football team.
Yes, I must compliment you. As far as I'm concerned, CFB is supposed to be the creme of the creme with everything in St. Kitts and the Nevis. Sports, the arts, drama, football, cricket, steel band. And no fault of yours, but I don't know if that's the case now, but a few years ago when I was director of culture, the only thing in the arts that was happening, two things that were happening: choral singing, which Mr. Gary Knight, I think he was responsible for, and I think it's, what do you call it, drawing, which Mr. Dennis Richards was responsible for. I had a challenge because throughout the island at the various high schools, persons would be doing drama and dance for the exams, CXE, and they get one, and that's the end of it, because they cannot do it at CFBC. And I was fighting to get that done. I couldn't convince anybody. And I don't believe it is right. I don't believe it is fair. That's my view, because it doesn't make sense. It's like you're doing physics in a high school, and then you get a 1, and they're not doing physics. As an example, they're not doing physics or chemistry or biology at CFBC. To me, I'm missing something. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm hoping they'll change it still, because the creative arts is just today the Minister of the Creative Arts, the Honorable Samuel Duggins. He had his quarterly press conference, and the orange economy that's a driving force right now. It's, well, sport, that is heading to be a major investment, a major opportunity, major employment area, in my view, for athletes. Josiah Claxton making the West Indies team, Kyle Louis making the West Indies team. These guys, that's their livelihood, that's their pay, that's their employment. Of course, they have to continue to do well like anything else to steady, and I think it shouldn't be. But enough of that. The Athletes Commission. What is the Athletes Commission and what is it about?
Well, we started the Athletes Commission to, in a way, build a bridge between the athletes of the different member federations and between the athletes and the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee. So we represent the athletes' interests. So if they have concerns or if they need any sort of resources, assistance with anything, we would bring their concerns to the Olympic Committee.
Okay, and it so happens that I'm an executive member of the Olympic Committee. Do you mind telling us who your executive members are?
Sure. So our chair is Mr. St. Clair Penny Hodge. Our vice chair, Mrs. Janelle Lake. I am the PRO. Our general secretary is Mr. Sean Seabrooks. Our treasurer is Mrs. Angelisa Hobson, and we have 2 executive members, Mr. Shaquan Hodge and Mr. Jason Rogers.
Did you say Angelisa Freeman?
Yes.
Did you say Shaquan Hodge?
Yes.
Mr. Shaquan Hodge, he is the vice president of the St. Kitts and the Nevis Table Tennis Association.
Yes.
So that makes me pick up my chest as the president. I'm the president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association. And Angelisa Freeman, she's our number 1 female player, table tennis player in the federation. And we are looking to get a team organized to go to the OECS Table Tennis Championships in October in Grenada. Okay. When we went 2013, we went Dominica, and Angelisa performed the best out of the team. Yeah, so we're hoping that she'll start training. She just got married, I don't know, maybe she's off on maternity leave still, or maybe she's just finished because she got a baby, so hopefully she'll start training again and be ready. So that's a good thing. 2 members of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association on it. That's wonderful. When did you have your elections?
Well, earlier in March, we had a workshop with some athletes from the various federations. And from there, those who were, the athletes who were there, they selected the committee, and we've been working ever since.
Forgive me, but I like your uniform. I think my engineer is going to just zoom in and let you fold the screen so persons could see that beautiful. I like to see. That's the uniform for the Athletes Commission, I take it?
Yes.
Who designed it?
Well, our chair would have gotten some assistance with the designs.
Oh, it's looking wonderful, man.
Thank you.
You could zoom in fully and just take me, or well, the engineer, I guess I'll have to stay. He can't get me out. Now, Olympic Day. That was last year. Last month?
Yes.
And you guys played an active role in that. Tell us, well, tell us a little bit about that.
So for this year's Olympic Day, we commemorated the event by attending a church service. We went to the Immaculate Conception Cathedral on Sunday, June 22nd. And we worshiped there with some athletes from the different federations, as well as the executive members of the Olympic Committee. And then on the actual Olympic Day, June 23rd, we released a few videos where the executive members were featured and answering a series of questions so persons could get to know us and our lives as athletes.
You said Catholic Church. You look like I'm involved because I'm a Catholic. And it so happened I attended church there as well. And I do congratulate all the members, particularly the St. Kitts and Nevis Handball Association.
Yes.
That had the biggest contingent there. And I felt good that they were able to attend. A few national associations attended. The Yacht Club, the St. Kitts and Nevis Yacht Club, the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association, and obviously handball that I'm remembering. I'm missing a few. But it was a tremendous service, and to see handball out in their numbers, I think that was wonderful. You created a video. Could you give us a few minutes as we play that video, and then we'll come back and you'll tell us what inspired your team to create that video, etc. And if you had to summarize the video in a line or two, sentence or two.
Sure.
And stick and say you're going to see the video live. You're going to be hearing the audio as well. And they've just given my engineer a chance to set up. And while he does that, here it goes.
From the time I was a young man, I was very involved with different sporting activities: football, cricket, table tennis, lawn tennis, anything with a ball. So I love the outside activity and the outdoor play. So that got me started in athletics as well. I loved athletics, so that is what got me started in sports.
What inspired me to become an athlete? Well, basically just running fast. I like the feeling of running fast and just being able to beat my friends, running with my friends and just beating them. And then I started hearing about my mom, what she used to do back in the day as a runner. That inspired me even more as well.
What inspired me to become an athlete? Inspiration is not the word I would choose. But I definitely started off my childhood years playing sports, just generally playing sports. We played football during breaks, we played cricket, we played rounders. I don't know who remembers rounders, but that's what we played. And so that early childhood sporting that I did in school, the transition to later childhood interest in volleyball, which is where I got my athletic start formally.
My love of sports, growing up, I just enjoy playing sports. It doesn't matter what it is or what it was. I just love being competitive. And when I reached high school, I took that step into becoming an athlete and taking that step to becoming a next level athlete in terms of my love for the sport.
What inspired me to become an athlete was my parents. They, from an early age, were the ones who encouraged me to try different sports. And one day they introduced table tennis to me, and from there I loved and developed the game.
I became an athlete because I've always loved being active and playing sports. I enjoyed spending time with my friends and just having fun through games. I still do. So I chose sport out of pure love for it, even before I knew it could lead to scholarships or a professional career.
From a young age, I was inspired by my love for competition. Regardless of what the activity was, I always felt that I embraced competition a lot easier.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Raspeed, Tough House Sounds DJ. And that video, I was quite impressed. The quality is very good. Chanel, who actually did the video for you guys?
Well, we got help from Shajane Gums. She was one of I think she played in the recent volleyball competition, the ECVA competition.
Okay. She did a wonderful job, and you guys look like movie stars, man. Now, the core values, remind us of the core values again.
The Olympic values.
The Olympic values.
Excellence, friendship, and respect.
And how successful do you think that is being transpiring now throughout the youth, especially primary school, high school?
Well, I think there's some development with the grassroots movement in various sports. I am assuming that they instill those values in some level, even if they don't recognize them as the Olympic values, because in the different sports you make friends, you learn how to compete, you always encourage the athletes, especially the younger ones, to be gracious in competition, fair play. So I think even though they are not expressing them as the Olympic values, they are learning them in some way. And even from a young age, the excellence and respect being taught or being embraced in sports, I think that's something that it's coming along.
What I find interesting from looking at them, in my view, Paralympics. Mm-hmm. They seem to enjoy Paralympics, their competitions, more than normal athletes. What are your views on that?
Well, I don't know if I would say they enjoy them more, because I think all of us, regardless, the Paralympics, Olympics, whatever major games competition, I think we all enjoy the thrill of competition, especially when we do well and win.
But I don't think winning is really the priority for them. It's just socializing and helping and enjoying themselves and things like that. Notwithstanding, I've seen 1 or 2 videos. There was a marathon and a gentleman in second. The gentleman who was in first, he fell. Mm-hmm. Just about 2 yards, 3 yards from the finish line. And the guy who was in second, he came up, and it was easy for him to pass him. But he picked him up and allowed him to go. So in an interview, after the mother at the interview asked him, well, why did you did not go on to win the race instead of helping him to win the race? And the person in second said, hey, it was his race to win. He was really the winner. Plus, what could I tell my mother if I were to do that? And that is the part that struck me. What could I tell my mother? I guess out of the respect and how she brought him up as an athlete, which parents should really be doing, not just encouraging the athletes to win. Everybody wants to win, but you won't win all the time. No matter how you turn it, you won't win all the time. And I'm also remembering a story of a youngster from Sandy Point Primary School. He was easily the best for years at his age throughout the island. Primary school championships, first 1 to 4 long jump. And fast forward to this particular year, out of the blue, an athlete, and he went to Sandy Point Primary School. Out of the blue, an athlete came out, I think was from Convent. The guy was first in the heats, he was second for a few races. When it comes to the semi-final, he developed a pain. he said, hey, I have a pain. They asked him, where the pain? The ankle, the knee, the hand. It was all in the mind, really. I don't believe he was accustomed to not being first, which is something I believe we need to teach our children, our sportsmen. And speaking of that, do you guys have that program when you're being trained as athletes? Not just the technical elements, but the soft skill values, the respect and the helping each other and being gracious, etc., gracious in defeat. Is that a program that this, do you know, that is being taught to athletes, especially at the young age?
Not that I'm aware of, but just from my experience in sports, after a while you do understand that you're not going to win them all. Sports does not care about your feelings, but sometimes you have to lose in order to learn a lesson. So it might just be that the competition is better, or you just need to work on something. So every loss is a lesson.
So you got a piece of humble pie, as some people would say. And I remember way back when in the Olympics, was it the London Olympics? A few years back, Linford Christie from Great Britain, he was the number 1 100-meter athlete in the world. And people, the commentators were saying that he was walking around with a chip on his shoulder. Mm. But then during the competition, they said he now has 2 chips. He's well balanced because he has a chip on each shoulder. I found that interesting. Eh? And some athletes are like that. Some athletes are very humble, but others, hey, I'm the number 1 and things like that. But I guess to each his own, and that is life. What do you have on the cards coming up for the Athletes Commission?
Well, for the rest of the year, in extending a bit the Olympic Day movement, the theme was Let's Move. We will be producing another series of videos where we feature athletes from the different member federations. So they will be engaged in some sort of movement or activity within the sport. And I know we were having a discussion about a fun run / walk. Coming back to the Paralympic, we will be involving the Association for the Disabled, and we will be, collaborating on that effort. So we are fully embracing the Let's Move theme.
So you think maybe with my waist 42 or 44, I'll be able to take part and be all right at the end of the walk and run? You think I'll be able to make it to the end?
It's for fun, so you could go at your own pace. The whole point of it is just to get everybody moving and active.
I like the fact that you're working with the physically challenged, disabled, whatever you're called. I think too many times in life we do things and we leave them out. And they are very happy people. I've been to some dinners with them, and if you have to close your eyes, you wouldn't know you're in a room with persons with disabilities of any form. Some blind, some deaf, wheelchair, walking challenges, and you wouldn't know. They are such a happy people. And I'm thinking, if they are not wholesome like me and you, why are they so happy and we are not? Because it's one big family, and I think we really need to support them some more. We need to reach out to them because they are human beings like us.
Yes.
And no one likes to be left in a corner, really. So I think that's an excellent move. Excellent move. How can persons contact anyone from your association to find out more information?
Well, I think we are easily reachable through the SKNOC. I'm sure that persons would have been familiar with the names I've called for the executive members. So if you know any of us, you can reach out to us. But I think going through the NOC would be good.
Well, remind us of your executive again, please.
St. Clair Hodge, Janelle Lake, myself, Chanel Crook, Sean Freeman, Sean Seabrook, okay. Angelisa Freeman Hobson, Shaquan Hodge, and Jason Rogers.
That's wonderful. And this is the second time I think we're having you on the program. We had your president here already. And it's not going to be the last. I thank you very much. You're not looking as shy as when you started. So I guess I did good in that with a calming effect.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I've never seen such a bright smile. Have you ever thought about entering the Miss St. Kitts Carnival show?
No. I'll stick to the track.
No, I think you should take the personality. That smile will just knock. The judges will say, here's the crowd. Serious. You should give it a bit of consideration. But it's nice having you on the program. I thank you very much for making yourself available. And anytime there's anything important, necessary, you want to come to us so we could help to get it out to you, please feel free to contact us. And I'm glad to have you on the program. congratulations again to all your executive members, and we wish you well. And of course, that uniform, congratulations. I like it.
Thank you.
I really like it. Since I saw it the first time, it was awesome. And the video, everybody is wearing one, so it's nice. And you said the video has been posted on the SKNOC's website.
On the Facebook, yes.
And so you're part of the whole SKNOC structure.
Yes, the commission falls under the NOC.
Okay, that's wonderful. So congratulations again, Miss Crook.
Thank you.
Both as, well, not both, as an athlete, as the PRO, and also as the sports officer for the CFBC. Apart from track and field, do you play netball, table tennis?
I used to play netball. I was involved in a lot of sports growing up. I tried a variety of sports, but I stuck with track and field all the way through.
How could we get table tennis at CFBC?
Well, the students would have to show interest. Because the sports are not like in the high schools. There are clubs that are formed by the students. So this academic year, we got volleyball to come on stream because these students were interested. And before the end of the second semester, we had a mini tournament between CFBC and Ross, and I think it was an enjoyable experience and something we would want to keep doing again.
Okay, but could you please try it out and your notices on the board? Anybody interested in table tennis? And you can always direct them to me, 668-2055. And we'll gladly come now. If you have to put a board down there so persons could play, we could very well do that because we are in need of players.
That sounds like a good idea.
Males and females. Thank you very much for working with us. So by today's the 8th of July, about the end of the month, we'll have about 6, 7, 8 people. I'm just being optimistic. Well, Ms. Cook, thanks a lot again for being with us, and we're looking forward to have you again. Any last words you would want to mention? Encouragement to support you?
Well, all I would like to say is to encourage the athletes, to keep working hard, pursuing their dreams. There's something to be gained from the experience.
Thanks a lot, and have a good night. And looking forward to having you again soon, not too distant future. You've been listening to an interview with Ms. Chanel Cook, the Public Relations Officer of the St. Kitts and Nevis Athletes Commission, which falls under the umbrella of the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee. It's a new commission formed in March this year, and it was stipulated by the International Olympic Committee that all countries should really have one. And St. Kitts and Nevis basically in the forefront, one of the few countries to actually go on about and have it fully established. So we congratulate the St. Kitts and Nevis Athletes Commission and we'll wish them well. We're going to be having the St. Kitts and Nevis Weightlifting Association. Weightlifting Association. So stick and stay, don't go away. We will be right back with more On the Ball for you. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Welcome back to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. I am Troy Bif Mills, your host, and we have our next set of guests in the studios with us. And just by way of a reminder, you can call into the program, ask a question, give congratulations, make suggestions. You can call 466-0989. That is our landline, 662-0989. That's our mobile number. And of course, if you want to come on board and sponsor us here at WINN FM 98.9 On the Ball, or even the sports, the daily sports, we'll be tremendously grateful for that. We thank you. And please call our marketing department 466-9586, or you can call yours truly 668-2055, and we'll be glad to come up with a program to satisfy your needs and drive customers through the doors of your business, increasing your sales, so we can develop a partnership. And in speaking, I'm remembering my good friend, Mr. Eustace Hendrickson, who is ill, as has been advised by his sister a week before last month, that he is suffering from stage 4 cancer, and the doctors have basically said they don't know of any medicine that can help. Words that are not so encouraging at all. Nonetheless, he's an ardent listener of On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. We say good evening to Eustace, and we are praying for you and your family. So be positive, be strong. We now get into weightlifting, and that was never ever my forte. I believe I'm one of the weakest guys in the world. Like I said earlier, I never made the shot put standard. You know, you try the ball, I never ever made shot put in high school, in primary school. Well, I don't know. When God was sharing me strength, I don't know where I went. But anyway, we have two members of the St. Kitts and Nevis Weightlifting Association with us. Neither are strangers. None of them are strangers, really. They've both been here before, one in person, one via the technology. And we go live and direct, and we say, good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9.
Good evening.
Evening.
And tell us who you are, a little about yourselves, please.
Well, Wame Belgove is a stranger to the airwaves. I'm Wame Belgove, and I'm the president of the St. Kitts Nevis Weightlifting Association, and I'll be just giving you some information tonight about what we have been doing and what plans we have coming up and stuff like that. But right after,
So stick up and let's have him introduce himself at least.
So my name is Virgil Liebert. I am an athlete in the St. Kitts Nevis Weightlifting Association. I've just been doing the athletic part of it.
Obviously, you have St. Kitts and Nevis roots to be representing St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes.
Where are your roots planted?
In Keon.
In Keon. Oh, gosh, man. I thought it was SP were the best beside me going to Hub City, but Keon is perhaps the next best thing, Green Valley, as it is said. There are many Liberts in Keon. I think they say all Liberts are related. For example, there's a Libert who owns the gas station, I think. I'm forgetting his name. He played cricket. But anyway, Mr. President.
And see if I'm saying kids, anybody got the same title with you relate. So that's how we go.
Okay.
I'm Belgove, and they have some Belgoves in Keon, and they say we're related, so that's how it goes.
That's wonderful.
But we have coming up right now presently. We are trying to deal with the Junior Pan Am Games coming up in August. That's next month. We got some information, kind of short notice, but we're still trying to see what could be done. We have a young guy there, Ditwan. He just started training recently, and we are in the process of trying to get him entering into that competition. The president himself, Mr. Jose Quinones, he reached out to me and said there was a wildcard entrance and they would like to give it to us. So we right now in the process of trying to get that done. It's kind of difficult, work on a hard place because, we're not directly, but we're not at all a member of the local NOC because we are not a direct member of the IWF. We're just a provisional member, meaning it's like we're on probation. And why it's so difficult is that being on probation, you have to be taking part in international games and doing a lot of stuff to show them that you deserve to become a member.
You're serious.
And in order to take part in international games, you have to have funding to get there and stuff like that. So that is where the difficulty comes in. We are willing, we want to, and we have at least willing to take part, but the funding part of it is difficult. And like I said, it's a work and hard place because yes, we understand with the NOC you have to be a member direct in order to get certain privileges, and we're not a member until we become a member of the IWF. So we're just kind of juggling between the two, trying to see how best we could get it done. But in the meantime, we are preparing the athlete because we have some other stuff working on that just might come through to help us get him there, the athlete, and a coach to get him to Paraguay. The event will be in Paraguay. It's I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks of events, but he will be going just for about 4 days for the weightlifting. That's once all goes well. And I had a conversation yesterday with a lady who is dealing with that for us from the overseas end. So we hope that all goes well and we really get him out there because he's a youngster. He just started in the weightlifting. And we really want to push him because, you know, we sometimes hear people saying that the young people, they don't do much and a lot of negative things. And this is a youngster. He really trying to do something positive for himself and for his country because he would be representing St. Kitts and Nevis, yes, yes, and Nevis. And he just started and he's doing very well because Verge here is the athlete. He's the athlete himself, but he has been doing some training, passing on some knowledge that he required over the years of training. And according to Verge, he's been doing very well since he started, and he will tell a little more about him later on. But that is the basis of our career right now. We don't know if there anybody out there in the private sector, any kind of sector, if you're willing to help, well, we're doing this, trying to get this youngster out there to represent the country. Any help at all would be gladly appreciated. Like I said, we're expecting some news concerning getting him there, but we still want to do what we can do from our end. So if anybody is in a position and you're willing to help, any help would be grateful right now. So we just hope that we get it sorted out. We don't want to have him training, and next thing you know,
he can't make it.
And then he get disappointed and he don't want to continue. We don't want that at all. So we really trying our best right now to get that part sorted out in the meantime. So I'll just let Verge give you a little insight on the training he's been doing so far.
Before we go to Verge, I could very much understand what you're saying because I'm the president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association, and we're having a similar challenge because we're not really a big sport, so to speak, a track and field and a football, and it's challenging getting a piece of the corporate pie. We're even trying to get at least the crumbs. We don't mind getting the crumbs, and the crumbs become half of a slice and then a piece of a slice and things like that. And to show you're serious, you actually have to be doing things. You have to be, and it's a catch-22. You have to be participating in order to get accreditation and get full membership. And to participate, you need the funds.
Same thing here.
And it's really a challenge. And the Department of Sports, the Ministry of Sports, they are helping, but I think the argument would be they need to step up and help some more, especially the minnow associations like weightlifting just coming on the scene, and the Table Tennis Association. And there are others, don't get me wrong, taekwondo and judo and that sort of thing. But it's a struggle, and the parents, the children will get frustrated, but the parents will also get frustrated, and they will look to pull their children from your sport and get them to another sport that they believe they have some more benefits.
Because weightlifting, it is a new, well, it's not exactly new, brand new, but it is not the most popular sport. But as you said from early beginning when we came here the first time, our aim is to get athletes to the Olympics. That is our main aim. We need to see St. Kitts being represented on the Olympic stage in terms of weightlifting and not just athletics. When we think about athletics, we think about, and when we think about Olympics, we think about just athletics.
Correct.
But this is something new. We want to get people out there representing St. Kitts in the weightlifting field. I don't think it has ever been done before, and that is our aim. That is our aim, our main goal right now, to get athletes out there, and we have a female right now training as well.
That's
before.
wonderful.
Yeah, she started, but because of her working hours, she had to pause for a while, but now her hours have been changed. She's more flexible, and she has started again. That is somebody who is dedicated, because she could have just given up because of her working hours. But she now called me and told me that she working hours changed. She wants to know if we still doing training, when she could come back. And she's also training with Virgil as well, so he could tell you about her and the youngster that we have training, because they're really interested in what's going on here. We really want to keep pushing them and encourage other people out there as well. If you want to get into weightlifting, you can come. We welcome all. It doesn't matter the age.
So I could join as well?
You could join. It doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter the body type. This is not it's not bodybuilding. You don't have to have a lot of physique to do weightlifting. The body structure doesn't really matter in this. It's just once you have the discipline to do the exercise, that's all you need.
I probably started about 35.
That's fine.
You can start with the back. Technique. Once you get the technique. Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's interesting. Earlier you said you feel like you're weak, but the wonderful thing about weightlifting is as long as you understand the concepts and you have the technique, some of the most unsuspecting people can be very, very strong and progress very well in the sport. So I do think if you come down, you can work with us with just the bar. You'll really surprise yourself.
Okay.
It's definitely something that you can do. It's something anybody can do. But yeah, we've been working out. We've been training. He's actually very, very quickly.
His name and where is he from?
It one.
I believe he's from Sandy Point.
Oh, SP where the best be.
Yeah. You guys are for sure, but I think it's 18. It's 18.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's coming in at a good time. He's progressed very, very well. It's been about like 3 serious sessions with specifically the snatch, one of the movements in weightlifting, because there's 2, the snatch and the clean and jerk. For anyone that doesn't know, the snatch is getting it over your head in one movement. The clean and jerk, you kind of rest it on your shoulders and then press it up. So it's 2 movements, 2 words, 2 movements. Snatch is one movement. But in 3 sessions with the snatch, he's been able to go from never doing it, which is 0, straight up to 165 pounds, I think.
Wow.
So he's shown a lot of promise. He's doing a good job. Val wasn't able to make it to that session yesterday. She was feeling a little under the weather. But in our next session, we'll see where they can go with their clean and jerk. So it's going well. The training is going very, very well. And they're both very, very dedicated individuals, because it's not easy to do it in the heat, especially. But they're serious about it. And every single time I message them, we're training tomorrow, it's always yes. Always yes.
How do you guys train?
So one, the female, she's training 3 days out of the week, which is enough. That's definitely enough for weightlifting. The Twan is training on a similar schedule to me, 5 days a week. So yeah, 5 days a week, 2 days rest.
And where do you train?
We are training at IRIP in Newtown.
IRIP. Where's that?
Ali, that's in the old Simako building.
Oh, okay.
The Ali store.
And what are the hours of your training?
Usually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we are training from 4 o'clock to around maybe like 6:30 around that time. Tuesdays I'm there usually in the morning. I usually get there between sometime at 9 or 10. And then I'm back again on Saturdays from like 10:30 to 11 is when I'll usually arrive around there. I'm usually there for like 2.5, 3 hours.
The last time I spoke to you, you were...
Yes, I was in New York at that time.
Keeps or just on holidays?
So I'm here until the 17th right now.
Of this month, the 17th of
17th
July.
of this month. And then I'm going from here to Barbados to go and train with the Bayesian team. So they've taken a liking to me, giving me like an open invitation to come back after competing there last November. So I'm taking advantage of that time now, see what I could learn, bring it back to St. Kitts and Nevis and continue spreading weightlifting between the federation.
Are there any prerequisites per se for anybody to join? You said yes, a weak person like me, I could start with just the bar and get the technique. But do I have to check a doctor to find out my condition? Do I have to be using vitamins for a certain period or whatever?
Not really. As long as you can hold a barbell, that's it.
So
That's a prerequisite right there. Usually when I'm coaching someone in general with any kind of barbell sport, I always question about any kind of pre-existing conditions or any chronic injury or any past injury for that matter. There is some consideration for those depending on the severity of it. It truly doesn't matter too much. You just kind of have to adjust training a little bit in order to work around it, strengthen whatever needs to be strengthened in that area, and go from there. But the only prerequisite really is just being able to hold the barbell with two hands, and you're good from there.
And the young lady you mentioned, who is she, where is she from?
Well, her name is Val. She participated in Carnival. She sang in the Soca Manaka. I don't know, she didn't make it down to the final, but she sang a song. They call her Snookums.
Snookums?
Yes, Snookums.
I know Snookums.
She's living in McKnight area.
Ah. But she used to live. So
I don't know if she used to live, but I just she live in McKnight. She
lived for a short while. I don't know.
Yeah, she's in McKnight. She sings and now she's into weightlifting. I told her about it once, and from the time I told her about it, she was always eager to come and train and participating. We didn't have any competition since she started training, but we're trying to get things sorted out in that aspect. But she's anxious to compete outside of the weightlifting, because we have powerlifting and weightlifting. She's doing the weightlifting training right now, which is the snatch and the clean and jerk. But we also have powerlifting events, bench press, deadlift, squats, and those kind of things. We have those in between, and all those contribute to the same weightlifting, or you could get extra strength from doing all those different exercises. So it's just a wide range of exercises we do.
You mentioned the competition in Paraguay. You said Pan Am Youth. Is it just an age category, or do you have?
Yes, it's the juniors.
The juniors.
It's the juniors. So it's 20 and under.
20 and so it's not weight, like heavyweight and flyweight. And
Well, there are weight classes.
but not for this. But not for.
Yes,
for this one as well.
For this one is this?
Yeah.
Oh.
For this one, there's weight classes, but then there are age divisions as well. So you have juniors. It's only separated by two, I believe, juniors and seniors. So once you move out of junior, you're automatically a senior.
And okay, that's interesting in the way. You mentioned coaching your assistant. How are desirous of you of going on to getting coaching certificates in weightlifting?
So I'm open to it. I've never done it. I've just never.
Yeah, you started last year. Last year, yeah.
It's going on 2 years now. I don't know. I've just haven't gone for any kind of certification or anything. I've just really put a lot of my time into researching, reading scientific articles, watching videos, reviewing footage. I've just spent a lot of time doing those things. So I don't have the certifications, no, but I do have the experience and the knowledge, especially after spending a significant amount of time coaching myself. Because the weightlifting is not where I started as far as it goes with strength sport. Like I was doing powerlifting before this for about, I want to say 5 to 6 years, and then before that calisthenics. And I've put a lot of time, a lot of hours into researching just movements, anatomy, programming for training, concepts as far as it goes with building strength and applying and expressing that strength. So the certifications, no, I don't have, but the knowledge and experience I definitely do have.
You're listening to On The Ball here at WINN FM 98.9, and we have with us in the studio the members of the St. Kitts and the Nevis Weightlifting Federation, Association, pardon me. We have the president, Mr. Romain Belgove, and an athlete who is assisting with some coaching, Virgil Liebert. It is out of Keon, living in the U.S., but Green Valley roots. And it's always good when we have persons in the diaspora, because we have had persons from a Russian representing St. Kitts and Nevis in lawn tennis. I say Russian, the person is a Kittitian division by via the Citizen Buy investment. And so once you could prove that you have ties to St. Kitts and Nevis, well, the simple thing is once you have a St. Kitts and Nevis passport, you can represent St. Kitts and Nevis. And we're trying to do something from a table tennis point of view. Actually, a gentleman who's living in Taiwan, he said he's interested in representing. And of course, we have to see him or something, videos or something. And we're having our national championship here in early October. So it'd be nice if he could come down and get involved. So in terms of your getting the word out, Belgrove, and I know in the competition in Barbados, was it last year?
It was last year.
Time flies by. I remember last year, November. Time flies. That's like 9 months ago.
Just now it's time to compete.
When Alistair went with him. Yeah. So how are your preparations going for that and any other competitions on the horizon?
It's going well. It's going very, very well. My main weakness going into the competition, I've pretty much ironed it out. Still working on it, but it's like 90% better, I would say. But for me, I've been focused doing more of the research, more of the training, reviewing my footage. I record all of my sessions, my workout sessions, and I review that footage almost incessantly. I've also spent some time in Louisiana training was invited to Louisiana to train with a pioneer and really a cornerstone in American weightlifting. So I spent some time training with him, came back, gave some of that knowledge to the athletes that I'm coaching right now here in St. Kitts. And yeah, all of that has just been really, really good as far as my progress goes.
You mentioned you've ironed out your weakness. You mind telling us what that weakness was and how you went about ironing it out?
So the issue was some technicalities with the snatch. I was inconsistent with catching the snatch in the bottom position because, with any weight, you could throw it over your head up until you reach a certain point. So with weightlifting, you have to actually bring the weight up to a certain level. Usually with the snatch, it's like just under your rib cage, and then you actually pull yourself under it. So the name is a little bit of a misnomer. It is weightlifting, but it's also lift under or pull under, you should say. But I've ironed out some of those technicalities. Really, on a more technical aspect, it was the issue of keeping the bar close to my body.
Okay.
But it's a little bit difficult to understand how you should be doing that. But I've learned how to do it. I've learned how to put my body in certain positions in order to keep the bar close and be able to make it more of a consistent lift as opposed to just hoping it's in the right place.
And that technique is important.
Very.
Basics, once you stick to the basics, you do it right, a lot of things will happen. So after is the Barbados competition next on the agenda for you?
Yes, but that is going to be in the first quarter of next year.
Okay, so you don't have anything else for this year. Did you have anything else in the first 6 months?
No, since November, you're saying? Mm-hmm. No, there hasn't been anything since then. Competitions for weightlifting are pretty far apart. It takes a bit of time to prepare an athlete, so the competitions are pretty far apart. There have been other competitions, just not competitions I've qualified for.
Okay.
You have to start kind of 2 years before any kind of championships, which have happened recently.
And after Barbados, what may very well be coming behind that in terms of competition?
I think the next competition aside from that is in April in Samoa, so pretty far.
So let's get some more information from, who was it? And in terms of the same guy that he spoke about from Louisiana, Coach Kyle, he actually is planning on coming to St. Kitts.
That's wonderful.
Sure when he's still trying to iron out the dates and get himself organized and stuff like that, but he promised me that he would try to get here, and once he get here, he's willing to do some coaching. So that's why we're trying to warn people now who will be interested to come and get some professional coaching sessions, so that even when he has moved on, he would have left information with the coaches here, Ali and Jason and the other guys who do the coaching, so they could pass it on to the other athletes. Because the weightlifting thing, it's a serious thing. We're not just in it just to say we're doing something, we just want to get to the Olympics or whatever. We want to really introduce this weightlifting and show people what it's all about, and what St. Kitts is all about. Because I think we could reach very far in terms of this weightlifting, just like any other sport. And the same youngster, the Tuan, He's doing very well, and I'm just hoping we get everything ironed out properly so that he could actually attend and participate, because I see him doing very well in that competition. He has the determination, the strength, and he's just working on his technique and everything. And once he gets there, win, lose or draw, it doesn't matter. As long as he gets there and he gets the experience, that is my main goal for him. I just want him to be able to get there and participate, and he could see that he's not wasting his time and he's into something that he could actually reach very far in, because that's what we need right now to encourage.
And he's hungry as an athlete as well. So I could see him going far.
Well, when the coach from Louisiana comes, I think by that time I'll be able to develop the mental fortitude to at least lift the bat. But of course, it'll be nice to have him here with us and on the ball if he'll be able to spare a half an hour or thereabout to be here with us.
I can speak to him as long as he gets here. Once he confirms with me when he will be back, I told me maybe sometime in July. So once he confirms and he will get here, I'll tell you ahead of time when he's coming.
That's wonderful.
We can organize to get him here to get some information.
We appreciate that. The Department of Sports, they're having a summer camp. The school closes officially, I think, Friday coming. I think the students, it closed for the students last week Friday. So the teachers now, I believe this week they're doing the marking and grading and things like that. And then Department of Sports, their camp kicks in, I think it's perhaps some next week, Monday. Any considerations of trying to get into that program?
Well, most of the time in terms of getting to the schools, it's a lot of loopholes and stuff you got to jump through to get it. You can't just get up and decide you want to go to a school to do training and stuff like that. You got to wait to somebody here and wait there. And it's a long process. You have to wait and wait for answers and stuff like that before you can just go there. So, I mean, we want to get the weightlifting introduced into the school from a very young age and everything. So that's something we considering still. It's a long process, but we're considering it still because we want to get to the youth. But I don't know if we'll get anything worked out in time now that they have this camp, because this will be a good opportunity. The kids are one spot and they don't have to focus on the lessons, so they could have some free time. So now will be a good time to capture their attention. So it's something we could work on and see just how we can get it done.
Ever thought about writing a poem on weightlifting?
I don't plan to. I don't plan. Things just pop in my head and I just write. I don't really plan.
You just get inspiration and you run with it.
That's right. When I think about writing about things, I find it take me a very long time to write. But when I just write from the spur of the moment, in hour and something, I could get to like 8 verses in no time.
You've got a skill. Keep on doing it. What about the socks? The blowing the socks. How are you coming with that?
I'm still a member of the St. Kitts Nevis Defence Force Band, and we're practicing right now. We have Independence Parade coming up, so we have the main practice on Wednesday. We practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The main one is on Wednesday. That also is another area where we're encouraging people, if you like music, if you're interested in music, we have a beginners class later down in the year or early January. I'll have to find out exactly when, but there's a beginners class that you can come and get music skills for free. They teach it free up at the camp, and we're trying to get some more members to keep the band building, because we're not going to be there forever. We soon get to the age where we can't play anymore, so we're going to need other people to come and carry on the band, because we cannot see Independence Parade without the St. Kitts Nevis Defence Force Band. So we're encouraging people as well. You want to learn music, just come on up to the camp and talk to somebody. Ask for Mr. Sylvester Charles. Everybody knows Mr. Charles. Captain Charles, everybody knows Mr. Charles from in school. Or we have Sergeant Clovis Hendrickson. She is one who deals with the recruiting.
Okay.
So Sergeant or Staff Sergeant, I don't know. From between hope I don't get it wrong. But Hendrickson, she's one who deals with it as well. So it's a lot in store. We have a lot of things in store right now. We'll actually really work on that, getting the information to the camp. I'll probably make a phone call or two and find out just how to go about getting in touch with them and to see if it's something that we would be able to, because we'll have a little more time here before we leave. So even if we could get in 2-3 days in the camp to just show them something, because even while he was training on Saturday, some kids passed by, or Friday, some kids passed by and they saw him training, and they actually went there and he just gave them some little pointers and some little things to that. They were very much interested and they wanted to know when they could come back. They wanted to know when they could come back. So that's good that they took an interest from a very early age. That's what we want.
That of course, and that is where it starts. That initial interest, and the parents need to support it. I always say, if you find your child beating and drum, beating on the tables, he or she is telling you, really, I want to play drums.
Yeah.
That is coming out from inside. Encourage him or her. If you see your child taking up your pen and a marker and marking up on all sides of the house, yeah, you don't want that. Don't really beat him and think. Buy a picture book and coloring book and give them. Because that again is saying, hey, I want to be that. If you see them kicking things, buy them. They're always singing. Buy a mic and give them. Too often we beat the children, no, don't do that, don't do this. But I think we need to, the children are expressing themselves, and we need to. Because I remember, I was in grade 2, going back to school for the January session after Carnival. And I am drawing a masquerade, and I'm drawing a bull. The teacher come home and beat me. Only to find out a few years later, I'm the director of culture. So I think all of that was sort of in me. The drawing, I didn't get into the drawing, but the cultural element. For me to sit down and remember how the masquerade look and draw a masquerade, sit down how the bull look and draw a bull and things like that. And so we need to be encouraging. And they may see something on the television, and they're doing it. And in terms of that, are there any plans to get television content, weightlifting content for ZIZ and the television in Nevis TV?
Yes, well, we're going to reach out to the necessary people who deal with that, and we're going to try to see if we can get them come and record some training sessions. And actually, at the end of the training later on down the year, depending on how much athletes we get training, if we could get even at least 2 females and 2 youngsters and adults, because we have some adults who are supposed to be training as well. We want to do like a little small competition between them just to see how far they are and what they need to work on and stuff like that. So all those are things we have planned for later on down the road, and if that comes off, we'll try to get some exposure from the television, and we have Shaq as well, Mr. Live out there doing the things. So any way possible that we can get the information out there, we're going to explore it and try to let people see what exactly we are doing in terms of weightlifting.
A few years ago, was it you guys who had an event on Central Street, crossed by BCA? Yeah. I was there standing and watching for a few minutes, and I never know that was happening in St. Kitts. And I was really impressed. It was a few years ago. I don't remember if it was before COVID or after COVID.
After COVID.
But
maybe like about 2 years ago. So. That's where we started. Actually, I had the vision about the weightlifting. I looked at the World's Strongest Man competition on YouTube, and that is where the inspiration came from. I told myself that those competitions, we can have them here. And I just looked at the different disciplines and different exercises, and I basically made my own equipment, got them welded together and stuff like that, and I just improvised and used. We don't have the original stuff, but what we have is just as effective, and that is where the inspiration came from. We decided to move it from powerlifting over into the weightlifting. Actually, we had a competition the same year with that one on Central Street. We had one down at Port Zante.
Yes, I think I remember that as well.
We had, our Prime Minister was down there doing bench press.
Yes.
Yeah, Prime Minister Dr. Drew, he came down there and he did some bench press. They gave him some lightweight first to warm up the one, and he started showing off, saying, nah man, put on some. So they bumped up the weight a bit, and he went and he did his thing, and he did about 12 reps on the bench press.
That's good.
Yeah, so we got him involved. We was trying to get somebody there with him so they could have a little competition between the 5 minutes against the next one, but the other person didn't show up. So, but he came and he gave his blessing on the weightlifting as well, and it falls right underneath him because it comes under health, and weightlifting is healthy for you as well. So he really gave his blessing on it.
In terms of healthy, Virgil, are there specific supplements, dietary plans, meals that you have to use as a weightlifter, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't really matter. It's you don't need to follow any specific dietary restrictions. When you are going into competition, if you want to fall into a specific weight class, let's say you want to go a little bit lower, then you would have to cut down on a few things, maybe eat less rice, cut out the cake. But aside from that, no, during training, there's really no need to follow any kind of dietary restriction. Even for myself, as far as like supplements go, I really only take stuff for recovery. So like the fish oil, vitamin D, regular stuff. You don't need anything in specific.
That is wonderful. Do you have internationally many challenges when it comes to doping and in weightlifting?
You mean like politically?
Yeah, illegally. Persons are using steroids or illegal enhancements or what have you.
Basically, any sport you have out there, you're going to always find somebody who's going to get involved with doping. But they have some anti-doping sessions. They had a Zoom meeting the other day about the same anti-doping. They have them from time to time, so we try to log on.
They as in for your weightlifting athletes and executives?
Well, whoever, anybody could go on. So it came from Mr. Andrew Callender in Barbados. He's the one basically responsible for the Caribbean region. He does all the stuff in terms of getting the information out there, and most of the stuff goes through him as well, and he reports it back to the others up on the top and everything. So he passed on the link and told me about it, and I sent it to Virgil and the others, and we just went on and got to see what exactly they're talking about. They have these sessions from time to time to inform people so that they could know what exactly to do and what not to do, so they don't go down the wrong road. So they do warn you and inform you, but if somebody still goes out of bounds and do whatever, there are consequences. But we not trying to, but we running a clean program here. No way at all we thinking about any illegal substances, because as Roger said, you don't really need to take anything. Once you have your natural strength, that's all you need.
And at the end of the day, you're really damaging your career, you're damaging your future.
Yeah.
Suspension, and you may not be able to come back from it.
Not just you, your country.
Exactly.
You get banned.
Well.
If you get banned, your country get banned. It's bad to see the whole country get banned because of one person.
One person with
mistake.
And we have not had too many instances of that, which is a good thing. I think when the Russians, was it a Winter Olympics, some sort of Olympics, they basically banned almost the entire Russian team, because that was a program, not for one athlete, two athletes. It was a national program spiking the athletes, which is sad, because you're going to be found out. And I think one of the most heartbreaking one was Armstrong, Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
He wasn't really doping. He was freezing the blood. He wasn't using steroids and those sort of things, but freezing the blood and things like that, which is altering the body and the thing, and maintaining
anything you do to enhance the performance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's illegal. And for his whole career, and that just went like that, poof, gone up in smoke. That was
that's
sad.
what you end up being remembered for.
Exactly. You don't be remembered for the good. How many years he was the champion, no one defeating him. You remember for the one bad, and stay away from drugs. A youngster, Monarch, brother named Kibo. He won the Youth Calypso show with that song, Young Youth Man, Stay Away from Drugs. A powerful, powerful statement. And there's Mr. Leroy Green. He is the anti-doping officer agent here in St. Kitts and Nevis, connected to the he's actually the assistant secretary treasurer of the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee as well. And I know it's just recently Mr. Andy Otto. He went to a WADA meeting, a WADA conference in Barbados, maybe as recently last month before. Like it is something that is very, very serious. Anything we didn't cover that you want to touch, ladies and gentlemen, because it's just about time to fly. We want to remind us again about the athletes and the competition you're looking towards.
Like I said, we are aiming towards the Pan Am Youth Tournament in Paraguay next month somewhere. The weightlifting segment of it will be somewhere between the 22nd and 23rd, somewhere around that date. I didn't quite remember, but somewhere around in the 20s. And once we get everything sorted out, the athlete and coach will be traveling there for like maybe 4 days, 2 days before the actual competition, the day of the competition, and then the day after, probably return after that. And we really hoping that we can get everything sorted out. We depend on our international counterparts to help us get it. They gave me the word that they're going to do everything within their power. Up to as recently as this morning, I spoke to the lady who's in charge of that part of it, and she told me she's gonna do what she can do and speak to who she have to speak to, and she's gonna get back to me tomorrow. Cause we're like 6.5 hours behind of them. So sometime about 9 o'clock in the morning, we'll probably have another conversation with her. It will be afternoon for her, and we could see what exactly is done. She already asked me for specific information, which is more on the positive side, because the fact that she asked for that information, yeah, it's looking more positive. And like I said, I really want to get this youngster out there. I mean, as the president, I'm just sitting behind and just pushing and trying to get people out there. I'm not, because of the president, I should go here, I should go there, I should listen to, because once we get him out there, this will be the second time we're getting an athlete going out there, and I'm just letting somebody go and deal with him who's in a better position to coach and stuff like that. I'm just the one with the ideas and stuff like that, but people who have more knowledge of the actual sport itself.
The technical elements.
Yes, so we're just spreading it across the board. There will be other times when the president direct would have to go to certain functions or other people, but for now we just want to put our best foot forward and get the athlete out there and get the right person out there to accompany him and help him in any way possible. There will be other competitions coming up later on. They assured me of that, so come on, maybe regardless of whatever happens with this one, there would be other competitions, and they gave me the word that they're going to try the best to help us to get into as much as possible, because we really need to participate in those competitions in order to prove that we deserve to be a full member of the IWF, not in it just for the looks or anything. We just want to prove that we doing stuff and show them that we really want to be a member, so that once we get to be a member of the IWF now, then we can come back home and work on being a member of the organization here, the local LLC, because we cannot do that until there's a charity begins at home, but this time charity begins overseas.
Remind us again where and when you guys are practicing.
So until the 17th, I'll be there Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. On the Wednesdays, I won't be training. I'll just be doing some coaching. But Sundays, at this point, are the only day that I won't be there. But I am leaving the 17th. I think that's next week, Thursday. So I'll be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay. Romain, it's nice having you and Virgil on the program, not the first time, and obviously it's not going to be the last time. And we congratulate you on the work that you are doing, both of you, and we wish you the best. We do hope that you're going to get to Paraguay, which we believe that you will, and we do hope that the youngster does well and at least gives that encouragement. And doesn't really mean winning. It'll be nice to win. But going, making a statement, drawing attention to St. Kitts and Nevis, hey, we're doing weightlifting in St. Kitts and Nevis. And then that's where, as what has happened with Virgil, when he dropped out of the sky into the competition, so to speak. You guys serious, boy, in St. Kitts and Nevis, you got athletes and weightlifting? So that would always come. And I thank you again for being here with us, and congratulations and the best wishes. One final question. What number could somebody contact if they're interested in weightlifting?
Okay, well, myself, I have my number 665-1778. That's myself, Romain. And Ali's number, that's 760-9933. That's Alistair James over at IWEP, the gym, the old Simako building in Finacho, not too sure. He's always, even if he's not there, there's somebody there, so you can go and speak to somebody. So that's Ali, 760-9933. Myself, 665-1778. And we also have another member, the Vice President, Mr. Jason McCoy. He's 667-2533. That's 667-2533. Jason, he does some coaching as well. So he's somebody you could find at the gym anytime. Most of the time he's there. So any one of those three numbers you can call, or you can just show up at the gym and just explain to anybody you show interest, you want to get started with weightlifting. You don't have to look like a superstar to do weightlifting. Just remember that it's not bodybuilding, it's weightlifting. Looks don't matter.
Oh, okay. Thanks a lot, gentlemen, and congratulations on your efforts, what you guys are doing. Please do keep it up, because especially the youth, they need guidance, they need something to do, they need something to keep them on the straight and the narrow way. And as tough as it is, we got to keep on fighting Belgrove.
Actually, if once we get everything worked out in our favor and we're gonna get the youngster off to Paraguay, we could actually get him to come here and do a little interview before he actually leaves, so you can get a better.
We appreciate that.
What happens here. Once all works out well, I'll get him here to do something before he leaves for Paraguay.
Wonderful. You know my number. Just give me a shout.
Yeah.
And things like that. Thank you, Mr. Virgil Libard and Mr. Romain Belgrove. We have been interviewing members of the St. Kitts and the Nevis Weightlifting Association, the president and our premier weightlifting athlete at the moment, and that athlete base is about to be expanded, which is always good news because life is about expansion. And they're off to Paraguay for the youth Pan Am Youth Games in weightlifting. So we do wish them all the best, and may they come back home wearing a medal, obviously, but most importantly, injury-free, safe and healthy, because it's very easy to get injured in any type of sport. And thank you for joining us. And as we slip away, we invite you to go on out and look at the youth cricket happening around the island, the West Indies Youth Tournament. There are 3 matches in St. Kitts, and there is one, in Nevis. In St. Kitts, we have tomorrow is the 9th of July. We have Guyana versus Jamaica, and this is on the 19th tournament. All matches start at 10 o'clock. There are 50-over matches. In Connery Cricket Ground, we have Guyana versus Jamaica. Trinidad and Tobago will be coming up against USA 1 at St. Mary's Park, Keon, and at the St. Paul's Cricket Ground, Leeward Islands and the Barbados will battle it out, while over in Nevis at the El Comido Willett Park, the Windward Islands and the USA number 2 team, they will square off, and these youngsters are playing some very, very good cricket. They're looking good, and remember from this tournament, a squad would be chosen to represent the West Indies on the 19 in the ICC on the 19 World Cup. So go on out, support the youngsters, support cricket, support the St. Kitts Cricket Association, and by extension, West Indies, and cheer them on. Look at some good entertaining cricket, because they have been playing some good cricket, good batting, good fielding, good bowling, and gosh, they're looking good. Take it from me. So thanks a lot. And as we leave you, you've been listening to another edition of On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. We thank you for tuning in. However, before we slip away, we have to remind you, when you're driving, please obey the speed limits. Don't drive fully and speedily, saying recklessly. That's the word I was looking for. And don't drink and drive, don't drive and drink. Because the life you take, or the life you save, may very well be yours, or very well be one of your loved ones. Always be aware of what is happening in your vehicle and around you. Pay attention to pedestrians, pay attention to cyclists, pay attention to persons walking on the road, children playing. Please, we don't want any more accidents. We've had enough accidents for the year. And I encourage you to always be positive in your words, in your thoughts, in your words, and your actions. Thank you for listening. Join us next week. Godspeed. Gentlemen, it was nice. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions.